afternoon trivia. How do you follow up June? We had 7 afternoon trivias in the month of June, concluding last Monday, June the 30th, with several different champions on the day, including the final for the big cash prizes, Mr. EMG winning 1972 song titles trivia, picking the Smash Burger, following up on Peter's calling that he would be a big factor in trivia. Talked about it today at Bear Scott Stadium, mentions a few things. Coming into today, we had the 1-game winning streak for EM Goat Nuts. And so, July the 7th, here we go. What happened in afternoon trivia? Well, coming in, our participants, which I'll get to after this, was looking very, very nice. Mr. Met saying that I had gone from room to room calling people in. Not true. I didn't tell a single person except for the announcement on the Frank Addington channel. And you guys showed up. Some really quality contestants and chatters, which really was a great start to July. Round 1, what happened? We picked up right where we left off in June. 1972 song titles trivia. We did it. All right. So we had, in this game, we had the first song was Song Sung Blank by Neil Diamond, and the answer was Blue. Now, we did have Pip from Pip's Pick'ems confirm earlier today about the passing of Big Blue is back. So we had a couple of tributes today to him. This was one of them. We had to kick off the day with Blue, and for this one, it was none other than the Duck Man coming in. He was ready to go. He saw the announcement. He comes in, gets a big win in 1972 song titles trivia. Hell of a job by Duck Beat, who had a win last week. Back-to-back weeks with a victory for the Duck Man. All right, we followed up with Wimbledon Champions trivia. What did I say at Bear Scott Stadium? I said, what's happening in the world of sports? Something big is going on. All right, right out of the gate, we had Wimbledon Champions. This is not the first time we've done Wimbledon Champions in afternoon trivia. I think we did it last year. We did the French Open Champions last month. So you guys who played last month, good job, because you're in tune, as well as watching the announcement video today at the historic Bear Scott Stadium Trail. So we had, in this one, Wimbledon Champions. The Duck Man could have gone for back-to-back. When he saw the title of this, he said, I'm sitting out this round. Duck is the unpredictable one. So it was in this game. Andy 8010 getting a victory. He knows who Yana Novotna is, and he damn well knows Goran Ivanisevic is. So great job by Andy. And to Duck's credit, he did sit out for the whole game. Didn't make any guesses. Duck is a man of his word, as you know. Game 3, we went with a premier topic in afternoon trivia. I know you guys like these. They are kind of popular. Jump out with something fresh and new that's never been done before. Now, I believe that this one has been done before in general trivia, maybe once at the most, but we brought it into afternoon trivia for the first time today with another summer blockbuster hit movie, still playing at the theaters. Went with Tom Cruise film titles trivia, plus he had a birthday last week. All right, and here we go. Tom Cruise film titles trivia. Who the heck would know this? Would know this one. This was the closest game of the day. It was Andy 8010 who was able to close it out on a bang photo finish. It was the two greats, John and Andy, tied at four apiece, And oh my gosh, it was a bang bang play at the end. The Color of Money, 1986, the sequel to The Hustler. And that's right, it was Andy 8010 winning 5-4. I don't really have the scores on these other two here, but they were somewhere like in the 5-2, 5-1 range. Nothing too exciting on these two. All right. Game number 4, we had Beatles song titles trivia. Haven't done this one in a while. Of course, we have done it in the past. And guess what, guys? Mr. Duck was ready. And Duck pitches a perfecto. It was incredible. It was like Catfish Hunter. Duck meat with a perfect game. Also gets a game ball for his likely his first career perfect game in afternoon trivia. Congratulations, Duck. Incredibly done. Nailing it on the Beatles song titles. Alright, hell of a job. Now look at these 3 rounds here. Round 2, Wimbledon champions. At the announcement video today earlier on the Bear Scott Stadium legendary trail, lush trail this time of year on July the 7th, I mentioned there will be ready. There could be what's happening in sports. What's happening in sports? Well, obviously something big, Wimbledon. That was around. Also said we could have something, a premiere genre topic, and we did. That was the next one, Tom Cruise films. Also said today is Ringo Starr's 85th birthday. A very famous person in rock and roll. Be ready for something there. Sure enough, there it is. All right. Subscribe to the Frank Addington channel. Be in tune with what's to come in afternoon trivia. No excuses. All right, there it is. Game 5 and 6, a favorite. All right, could Duck repeat? Could Duck get his 3rd win of the day? We had Homophones trivia. What is this? Duck said. He was there last week when we played it. We played a round of this. Duck was there. And he's a smart guy. Whatever. So we had Homophones trivia, which has become kind of a challenging and close one for afternoon trivia. And it was fairly close on this one. However, we had John coming in with a 2-0 lead. And I tell you, it's the Duck man. He just starts when he gets rolling. That's what happens. The Duck man wins back to back. He wins here 5-2. He just lapped John and the rest of the field. Incredible. John unable to win the game. Someone else had won here. So excellent job by Mr. Duck. Back to back. And then we had Homophones. Speaking of back to back, we went with Homophones again for a little challenge here. This one was about the same, but this one was won by Andy 8010, getting a big win here in Homophones trivia, winning 5-2. All right, so Duck was unable to get the hat trick there, but we went with 1983 song titles trivia as we were trying to wrap up afternoon trivia. Coming down the stretch, and this one was Andy 8010, who knows the Naked Eye song, Always Something There to Remind Me, which is a cover song, by the way. Pretty sure Johnny Mathis did this song. It was way back to like the 50s. For those of you who don't know that. We also had Human Nature by Michael Jackson. I think that may have been the closing point for the afternoon trivia topic. 1983 song titles trivia. It was Andy 8010 winning a pretty close one, 5-3, to win his 2nd in a row and his 4th of the day. We then went with Beatles song titles again, for the big cash prizes, and this one wasn't even close. In this one, we had a little tribute, another little tribute to Big Blue is Back with Blank J Way, 1967. You know the answer. And the answer to the champion of Beatles song titles trivia was Andy 8010, winning 5-1, very, very convincingly. I think John got the other point. John had a nice day today, but was unable to get a victory. And I'm telling you guys, this was the Duck and Andy show. We had 8 games today. We had half of them were music related, so a lot of music today. 5 were entertainment, 2 were English, and then the other was sports, Wimbledon champion. So very heavy on the entertainment today, especially music. So music, that could be a genre coming up. All right, that's what we had today. A nice solid 8 rounds. All right, we'll get to the participants and the big cash prizes next. All right, so our participants now, this was it right here. These guys, this was really interesting because all of these chatters here, oh wow, the great 10 chatters here, right here. We're in for afternoon trivia, wire to wire. This is not something you hardly ever see something like this. Very impressive. That is incredible. They were in there ready for afternoon trivia. They stayed there until the big cash prizes. Great job. Nobody left. Andy 8010, great performance today. Knocking out 5 victories today in afternoon trivia. Just another day at the office and knocking out some different genres as well. DNR Manny is in the null set today. DPCX definitely in the null set. Free Jackballs was a huge disappointment by showing up and then not uttering a single word. John, a great job today. Got some points. Was on the absolute verge of a victory in Tom Cruise film titles trivia. Wasn't able to finish, but had a great performance today. That could lead to great things as we move into July. All right, next one was JG53 AOL, who was also in the null set. And we had Mr. Met, who was interesting today. First of all, he did pick up a technical. He had 0 points on the day, a complete goose egg, which is probably why he said, thank God it's over when trivia ended. And he also announced that he was boycotting trivia until August the 7th in memory of Big Blue. I don't know what that really has to do with not playing trivia, like why you would boycott, but maybe you just kind of want a time of nothing and you know, well, like respect or something. But I think Big Blue wants to play on. But anyway, Mr. Met announcing today during afternoon trivia, you will be boycotting until whatever he calls it, until August the 7th. All right. So an interesting day for Mr. Met. And then Shalkinator. All right, Shalkinator was around. I think some of these topics would have been good for him. He did a great job on the DJ pick, but he was nowhere to be found during trivia. S Struck, the return of S Silver. Now you don't get a game ball for just returning, but I think he may have a game ball on the way if he keeps showing up, and I think he's going to get a point. Because he was very active and talking about some things. So S Struck was in. Thanks for coming in. Good to see S Silver, and then we had Duck Meat, the Duck Man with a great performance today. 3 W's on the day. Oh my gosh! And a game ball. Duck Meat caught that game ball, by the way. Duck Meat with a victory last week. 3 victories, 4 victories in afternoon trivia for Duck Soup over the last 2 weeks. Great job, Duck Meat. Great day. This is why we look for him to be in really one Alex Zuber came in late. We were talking about him, and then he shows up, and of course, nothing from Alex Zuber today. So complete null set for Zuber, but he was present and accounted for. Big cash prizes went to Andy 10. Now, in Beatles Song Titles Trivia, remember the first round of Beatles Song Titles Trivia here, round 4 on the day, the Duckman got a perfect game and a game ball. He had 0 points in the second one. He wasn't around. He blew a grand opportunity to win the day cash prizes. So that was Duck's big failure of the day. It was Andy 8010 capitalizing and earning a victory to get the big cash prizes. 2 of them were pizza. These are both cauliflower crust pizzas. I didn't note that in the choices when I wrote them. And then the other one is the Use Your Resources. Now Andy is from Georgia, so he is a grit eater. And he did not pick this. He did not pick this. He went with this. This is our big cash prize of the day. All right, we'll do that. Andy was, of course, along with winning his 5 games today, he also was at Chick-fil-A getting his peach shake and his chicken sandwich and munching his fries and his soda, which he didn't need to get. And so just more empty calories for Andy. And so we had Andy the grit eater picking this. A little surprising. Now, is this a strategy pick? Is this strategic picking to avoid pizzas? Is he setting up, if we have a beach trip tomorrow, is he trying to set things up for a real Milton's Pizza acquisition? Is that what's going on? All right, so we'll do this. Thanks for playing Afternoon Trivia on the 7th of July. A week from now, we'll be close to the MLB All-Star game. All right. What more could be said except on these whiteboard videos, recaps for Afternoon Trivia. In the past, sometimes I've written tonight's featured presentation in here and then talked about it. I don't really see why I've done that, so I'm going to stop doing that. It has nothing to do really with Afternoon Trivia. Everything else here does, so I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, it's kind of stupid to talk about it. Talk about last night's feature presentation. Tomorrow, what's coming up tomorrow? We'll see. I might see you for a mailbox walk tonight. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless.